While I had started getting my final cog disguises, I decided to detour to solo the first major boss in the game, the Sellbot VP. I had the idea that I may need rewards for my boss bot suit tasks, so might as well knock it out earlier than I initially planned. The entire time I knew this would be the actual hardest part of the run, as I don't have any good rewards to work with. I could use some select field office SOS, but they make little to no impact beyond giving me an extra turn to work with or speeding up healing. Having to grind for the field office SOS cards I want is an extreme chore, as I cannot shop for them and I only get one card per run as well. This basically means I have to roll with a rewardless VP run. I'll be honest, I will be doing a lot of complaining. If you just want to skip ahead to the actual run and my planning for it, just go to this timestamp. If you're willing to sit through a bunch of ranting about what I had to deal with, then that's also cool. I only suggest this boss challenge for the strong-willed. This VP run took me over 200 attempts. I had to constantly reset over misses, reset over the wrong starting cogs, reset because I ran out of gags too early, reset because my doodle failed too much, reset because I dropped down the even 40 laugh too early, the list goes on. Doing a rewardless VP hinges on an extreme amount of accuracy shenanigans that it feels less skill-based and more luck-based as you attempt it more and more. At least with my VP round 1 attempt back when I was in the Berg, I only tried the first round and wasn't even aiming for rewardless, so I had decent odds there as long as I brought all of my level 7s instead of just one. Despite the fact that TTO has set cog levels in boss fights, the level scaling, as I will call it, will be random. You can influence the reinforcement spawns by a bit by dealing enough damage, as oftentimes you'll get another level 12 if you don't deal enough damage on the first 12 on turn 1. But when I do piano, I just get lower tier cogs. Aside from one instance where I literally got a level 10 immediately on turn 2. Sometimes you'll just get higher level cogs on turn 2, despite dealing a good amount of damage to 12 on turn 1. I've had to reset runs because on turn 2 I got level 4 to 6 cogs instead of 2 to 4 cogs. It's the most frustrating thing I've done, and that's just from turn 1 to 2 resets. I reset a lot more midway through the first round due to the aforementioned luck fails with accuracy, doodles, and the like. I even made it to the Skelecog round just a few times, but most attempts resulted in me failing replicating the same strategy from other runs players have done on TTR, a version with the VP cogs being unchanged compared to TTO as of September 2023, just because I was missing one crucial lure gag on the final set of Skelecogs. Which missing that gag was because of some random annoyance in the first round. During the time I had to grind this out, I went ahead and completed separate challenges of my own just to take brief breaks from constant failures and frustration. I was able to beat a modded boss fight in Kirby and the Forgotten Land that was made to be near impossible under the conditions I played it in, which only took me a couple attempts. I was able to beat Forgotten Land, return to Dreamland Deluxe, and start Allies' respective true arenas without healing a single time in only a few attempts per game. I soloed a TTR back 9 and a TTR middle 6, with the latter only being with one reward, and even those took a couple attempts each, despite making me work with accuracy values lower than 85% most of the time. I finished a hat in time with the playable Kirby mod, and beat some Death Wishes, including a one-hit hero fight against an EX boss that was a total pain. I even went out and touched grass twice in California when Hurricane Hillary was a threat, a state I don't even live in. All of those could be done, but I could not for the life of me get through this stupid VP run. My friend suggested that I do grind for Field Office SOS cards, but it was just too much of a task to grind up about 10 to 15 Banana Peels and Giggle Meshes each, not accounting for more if I failed more runs. I also didn't want to go beyond rewardless because I always knew it was possible. It was proven various times on TTR, but to my knowledge has never been done on TTO, where pie throwing mechanics are different. I also just want this as justification for why I am autoing boss grinding, because if you expect me to SOS shop on top of taking 200 plus more attempts for a single SOS card that I need for later, that is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Doing this once was more than enough to prove that you can theoretically achieve this up to max suit, but I want to do other things with my life than SOS shop to telemarketer level 2 in the span of 17 years. With my frustration aside, I was posed with a separate problem. Storm Sellbot. Storm Sellbot is an event that makes the VP significantly easier. I could have taken the easy way out and just done only the Storm Sellbot variant and cut it off there, but with how deep I was, I didn't want to give up. I had to, unfortunately, take my attempts elsewhere. I booted up a Toontown offline source I've held onto, and perfectly replicated Dirt Kirby and as much of my doodle as I could. I also ensured that the mechanics, notably pie throwing in the final round, were accurate to TTO. The only issue is that my doodle may have different stats compared to Sunrise, as you don't know the true values of both hidden and upfront stats you see when the doodle is bought. But considering that they don't make a huge difference beyond Rarely Tired being at the top of the list, I believe my doodle's stats weren't too different. I did make sure its appearance matches up at least. If this is enough of a deal breaker to invalidate my run, then, sorry I guess? I just didn't want to wait a whole month just to keep trying, and I didn't know about Storm Sellbot being ran on Sunrise until just a few weeks before. Don't worry though, I did a Storm Sellbot run as well, which will be covered. So, the actual run prep. I've been sticking with Organic Throw the whole time, as taking out level 10s with 2 lured creams and level 11s with 1 lured cake have been incredibly valuable. Lured Whole Fruit has been okay for level 4s and 5s as well. Though as I did more runs, I had the realization that my Organic Throw hasn't been a huge difference maker. For level 10s and 11s on round 1, I can't use cakes as they have to be saved for the Skelecog round. I often use TNT on them instead, and use creams on level 6 to 8 cogs. Any failure that happened on the Skelecog round beyond just lure or drop missing was a result of not having enough gags at the end, and not killing enough cogs during the presentation phase of the round. Since turn 1 of Skelecogs always began with Railroad, I'd guarantee 1 to 2 level 12 cogs surviving. I had the idea that Organic Trap might actually have a niche here, as Organic Railroad can take down level 12s by itself, after lure support of course. Trapdoor is okay for level 7s, but it wasn't a priority for me as I could take down level 7s without issue thanks to Big Weight or Lured Hose into Hose. I decided to bite the bullet and switch my Organic temporarily to Trap and see how it goes. Turn 1 of the first round begins with a level 1, 12, and another 1. The strat is the same here every time, piano on the 12. I take a decent chunk of damage and another level 1 arrives. I kill the 12 with Hose and take the hits from the Cold Collars. Another level 1 arrives and I lure for 2 turns of healing. I kill a Cold Collar with Seltzer and avoid taking damage for this turn with the low accuracy rolls the cogs went for. A level 6 Mover and Shaker is next, and I safe to insta-kill it. My plan is to keep these level 1s for as long as possible, so I can just take little to no damage from them and deal with 1 higher level cog at a time. A level 6 Gladhander arrives, and that is also dealt with a save. I set up a trapdoor on the level 7 Mingler and lure the following turn after taking their hits. Since my trapdoor is organic, it's an instant kill. A level 9 Mover and Shaker comes out, and I decide to lure it. I heal a bit since Quake will deal heavy damage if the Shaker uses it. I go for Cream to deal a bit more than half of its health and damage, and it goes for half Windsor, which, while still strong, is at least better to deal with damage-wise. I lure again and heal for 2 turns, then kill the Shaker with Cream. Level 11 Mingler comes out, and I set up a TNT. It's best that I save my pianos for any level 12s, while TNTs are for 10 to 11 cogs. The Mingler goes for Buzzword, which is fairly lucky, as Paradigm Shift will be much more dangerous. I lure all of the cogs and the Mingler dies to my TNT. Next is level 11 Hollywood. I do the same thing but with a $10 bill this time for my lure. Level 12 Hollywood is up and I immediately piano. This means I am at the halfway point of this round, but my health is critically low. I just have to deal with taking these hits and I drop down to 10 lap. These Cold Collars can only do up to 9 combined damage thankfully, so I hose the Hollywood so my lure isn't totally screwed next turn. I drop down to 4 laugh and another level 1 Cold Collar appears. I take this chance to lure and heal up for 2 turns, then kill a Cold Collar turn 3. I take a little bit of damage and a level 4 Name Dropper enters. I repeat my 2-turn heal and 3rd turn kill strategy. I have to get myself up to about 70 or more laugh again before I get the high level cogs, which I'm at a good pace currently. I kill the Name Dropper with a Seltzer. Level 5 Shaker, another plus 20 laugh, and I kill the Shaker with a Lured Hose. I use a small magnet once a level 5 Cold Collar arrives, as I have a good amount of laugh, and a max small magnet is 95% with tier 1 cogs, as they have lower defense values for accuracy counts. I kill the level 5 after 1 turn of healing, and I can go back to the offensive. Level 5 Name Dropper goes down to a Big Weight. Level 6 Name Dropper is next, and I lure so I can Cream to kill it. I do take my free turns to heal beforehand. Level 7 Two-Face goes down to Big Weight plus Whole Fruit for an exact 72 damage. Level 8 Hollywood comes out, and I lure and heal to stay above 70 laugh. I use Whole Fruit to get over 30 damage on the Hollywood and clean it up with a save. I do the same thing with the level 9 Two-Face, except this time with a Cream instead of Fruit in the save. Level 12 Hollywood. This is a sign that I am about to be at the end of this round. I piano and take heavy damage. 58 laugh is still okay at least. I kill the Hollywood with hose. Next is a level 2 telemarketer. Sometimes the final 12 is saved for last depending on how the level scaling went, but I can only find out by killing these cogs. I small magnet, heal, then kill the telemarketer with a seltzer. I dodge all the incoming attacks and a level 2 cold caller shows up. I repeat the same 2 turns as before. Then another level 12 arrives. This is unfortunate. I big magnet, and after using my doodle on turn 1 of Lure, I decide to take down the Hollywood with 2 storms for an exact 200 damage. I get an insane lucky 5% dodge against Power Trip after the first storm, which will just save some time on healing before the next round. The cold collar's on Lure, and I get another level 1 cold collar. I just lure and kill one of them, but another appears. I whole fruit the new spawn to kill. I am now left with the last few cogs of this round, being the level 1 cold collars. I kill all of them except for one, as I need to get myself back to full laugh before the next round. After one unlured heal, I use a $10 bill to get 3 turns of uninterrupted healing back to full, and kill the final cog with a cream. With that round over, I have 27 gags left. I still have all of my cakes in 1 storm, so as long as I don't get walled by level 11s during my presentation phase, I can secure a good victory. By the way, the SOS card for this run is Clerk Will. He's one of the worst rewards in the game, being a 50 damage trap to all cogs on the field. The Skelecog round begins and I immediately set up my railroad. I take a bit of damage and lure the following turn once the next cog arrives. They all die to the railroad. Next set of cogs are 2 10s, an 11, and a 12. I could Toontanic or Presentation here, and I decided Toontanic since it will kill 3 out of the 4 cogs. I take 20 from the remaining cog and 3 more come out. Now begins the presentation phase. Presentation lures cogs for an insane 15 turns on TTO, so I heal up to 93 after a few turns. I kill the level 10 on the far left with Cake. I don't have to worry about knockback mechanics here, as boss fights will regularly give lure knockback to all cogs regardless of positioning, only having knockback bugs if there's lag. The next cog is another level 10, so I lure it and Cake again. The third cog is another level 10, another lure into Cake. Fourth level 10, but this time I lure it and kill the 12 that has 20 HP left with a cream. A level 11 arrives and I lure it. Since all 4 cogs are full health, I take one final turn to heal myself to full laugh and kill 2 of them with Wedding Cake. The surviving 2 12s have 20 HP and the new spawns are both level 12. I don't want to waste my Toontanic just for 2 kills, so I fog to kill the 20 HP level 12s and weaken the new ones. I drop down to 23 laugh and a level 8 and 12 arrive. I lure, take a few turns to heal up to 53, and Geyser to kill 3 out of the 4 cogs on the field. I drop down to 33 laugh and the final 2 cogs arrive, being level 8s. I could lure to heal, but honestly I don't need that much laugh for the final round. I opera to insta-kill the level 8s and finish off the 12. For once, I finally beat this round without running out of gags too early. The final round is, thankfully, the easiest to deal with. One major difference from modern servers though is that TTO has pie throw cancelling. If I move after initiating a pie throw, then the entire action gets cancelled. If I start moving and then throw a pie while continuing to move, the animation won't get cancelled unless if I input a different movement direction. It doesn't change a whole lot or make the final round difficult, but it requires me to position myself before throwing. On TTR, I would just do both simultaneously. The actual final round itself goes fine. I stay patient and play reactionary, rather than blinding throwing pies into the VP's weak points. I do let the VP recover from his first stun before going down the first ramp though, as I wanted to get an easier front stun than having to do charged back stuns so early on. I eventually get the VP to fall off the final platform without taking a single point of damage myself, securing my victory and freedom from having to do this ever again. Clerk Will is then freed from the cage and I will never use him in a serious setting, but at least he'll live on being my rewardless VP run's reward.